what's up, everybody? Welcome to another 3D Thursday. You got ourselves Noah and Pedro here.
How's everybody doing? We come here every Thursday to hang out and talk about 3D printing, CAD techniques, news going on in the world of 3D printing.
That's right. We try to combine DIY electronics with 3D printing with some very cool projects. And we have some lovely segments and show things. Pedro, tell me what's on the show today.
Today's coupon code for the show is METAL. That's right, you can get 10% off on any 3D printing accessories. Doesn't work on gift certificates or software, and expires at 11:59 tonight.
That's right. So if you want to get some discount on some printed stuff or some electronics, check that out.
Definitely.
All right. So let's start off the show with some segments. What do we start the show off with?
We started off with what are we prototyping?
That's right.
So we take a peek at some of the behind the scenes of what we're working on for future projects.
That's right. Then we're going to check out some 3D news, some external news.
That's right. There's always something interesting going on in the world of 3D printing.
And then we'll take a look at this week's video.
That's right. Every week we have an awesome project video to show.
That's right. And then we'll end the show off with the layer by layer segment, which is some little bit of CAD techniques and maybe some slicing walkthroughs.
Yeah, always fun.
Yeah. So let's jump right into our first segment, shall we?
All right. What are we prototyping this week?
So this week we got a couple things for you guys. Let's go ahead and switch over to the overhead cam. Pedro?
First off, we got the Pi 2 in. So we're going to be updating a lot of our popular Pi projects. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, 6 months now of projects coming.
Oh, yeah. We're a little worried that we were running low on projects, but this just exploded. So we're trying to get these in stock for you guys. So just keep checking. Definitely sign up for the notify me on the page. You
Okay.
want to be aware or alerted when we get shipments in.
Yeah.
We got that. We also got some cool sneak peek of a future project.
Oh, what is this?
Seems to be a cool one, all 3D printed in one piece.
All right.
All done there. We'll show
We'll
that
see
off.
more details about that. And there's also a new project we got going on, this little very cute DIY gamepad. It's a Bluetooth 3D printed gamepad using the Adafruit EasyKey Bluetooth module. It's also using the Promo Proto, which is the size of a business card, the half-size one anyway. And it's got a 500 milliamp battery. You know what? We'll go over it in more detail when the time comes. This is so fun. I really like this one. So be on the lookout for that one. Let's get another shot of that. And that's pretty much what we're working on. There's some other things, but we don't want to share everything, right? So.
Yeah, I can't share everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go ahead and jump into
some
3D printing news.
Okay, let's go through some news. Well, we got an update from Mr. James Bruton, ex-Robots.
Always exciting to see the progress on all of his projects. This week, it's the Hulkbuster.
That's right. This week's Hulkbuster project, he is taking out the sort of wing doors that he has in the back, and he's making new mechanics for it. So he goes through all the tips, or all the techniques and steps that he's going through to make the frame, and printing all the parts on his farm of Lolsbots. Very cool. And this one's really cool because the door mechanism is really an important piece of the suit. And you got to be able to get in and out of it. It's all modular based, so he's got to be able to get it out of the house. He's definitely planning with like transport in mind. So he's really considerable thought into it.
There's even like electronics that'll do the opening for you, and he has some backup plans just in case power goes out or something like that. You can easily get out of there. Won't be trapped in there. Here's if you skip ahead, here's one of the cool mechanics that he has for this week. Sort of reminds me of I think that clapping hand that was on Thingiverse.
That's right.
So here he is prototyping the way the mechanism will work using Legos, which is a really cool idea to do. And if you skip forward a little bit, you can see what the final product looks like there.
Yeah, very large, very, very big parts. This is why the Lolsbot TAS 4 is a great machine.
Yeah, so he's using, I think, ABS for all these parts, make them extra durable.
Yeah, and some metal screws and washers and whatnot to make all the parts together. So here he is putting it on top of the suit and mounting it into place and figuring out where all the spots are to make it work. And it's got it spring loaded as well. So very, very cool.
Always awesome to see the updates there, get some ideas going on some mechanical moving 3D parts.
Yeah.
Wearable.
So check it out if you haven't already. Be sure to follow James Bruton on all the social channels. He's got his YouTube channel, X-Robots. We also got a link for you guys in the blog. Be sure to check it out. There's always, every week, he's coming out with new projects. or any updates to the projects.
Next up, we got an awesome 3-fingered gripper.
Yeah, this is a robot arm that's all 3D printed, and it was inspired sort of by the $100,000 version. So this gentleman here created or designed all the pieces in CAD and is using servos and different motor drivers to make it to make a grippy working arm. So really cool.
Was this the one that he wasn't sure if it was okay to release the design files?
Yeah, that's right. He wasn't too sure if it's like if he's like sort of infringing on a patent by releasing it publicly, like his design files and stuff. But it is sort of his original design in the sense that you know, he made it from scratch. So you know, if you got some tips or you want to check it out, there's a link for you guys in the blog, so you can check that out.
Yeah,
very
awesome,
cool project.
Awesome work, Mr. Andreas.
Very clever design.
Okay, next up we got a modular Xbox thumbstick mod by Caleb Kraft.
Yeah, that's
from,
right.
Make.
Yeah, editor at Make. He thought he'd make a very cool thumbstick extension for people with maybe disabilities, so that you can play comfortably.
Yeah, so definitely gonna look at this more for, I think, in 2 weeks when we release the gamepad project.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely for nice modding.
Yeah, modular and customizable.
Right.
Very cool.
Very cool work there, Mr. Caleb. Next up, we have the PP2000, or no?
Or the heart. Let's do the heart. Valentine's coming up, and this is probably the coolest looking sort of heart artwork that we've seen. Oh man, let's go back to that.
Yeah, so this is from Immersed 3D, aka James Alday, and this is a mechanical heart that he's turning with his hand. Very awesome.
Very cool.
I don't know if he released the 3D files for
Oh
this.
really? It's not a Thingiverse or anything
I
yet?
don't believe so, but if he does, we'll definitely print this out and
This is so
show
cool.
it off. This is a really cool mechanical design that
It really shows what you can make with a couple gears and a couple printed parts. It's really creative and very cool, especially for the Valentine's Day. It's a really cool part.
perfect for the mechanical geek in your heart.
Very cool.
Next up,
We got this-
PP2000.
Yeah, PP2000. It's like pew pew. It's like very cool. This is a very interesting. You know, 3D printing guns is very controversial, but I think when you're using it as like a replica or a toy, and from a design standpoint, this is really cool. Like, I don't like guns myself too much, but man, I really like. You know, I like the designs of guns, and he released this one on Thingiverse, and you know, I figured I'd print it out and check it out. I really like it. It's all modular and, you know, snap fit together design. Really cool, Sergey. So thank you for releasing that on Thingiverse. Check it out.
It's a very nice counter argument when people say, "Oh, you're 3D printing guns," so you can always say, "Yeah, for cosplay,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, for design elements, right?
For video production, like movies and things.
Exactly,
Right?
because you know, a plastic gun is just going to blow up on you. It doesn't make sense, does it? Now?
And this is an interesting gun because it's actually a sort of a Russian gun that was sort of the patent
it's
was
open
open.
source.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the patent was open, so it's like available to sort of design your own. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, very awesome.
Very good work, Sergey. And now into more industry news. Katy Perry in the news with some 3D printed goodness. Pedro, tell me about this one.
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody saw this. I think Brandy just had this on, so we had to watch it. It's a
Really?
pretty cool performance for this. If you skip
through it,
forward
yeah.
to the dancing there, you can see the very awesome costumes that everybody's using 3D printing to produce.
3D printing elements for your costume, yeah?
Yeah, so,
So which part is 3D printed here?
So it's the awesome mohawks here that you see. If you can skip a little bit forward,
it's all Katy.
all LED.
Too bad Katie's not wearing the mohawk. All the
Sure, it
dancers
mess with the
are.
hair, yeah. So there you go. You can see them there. They were printed on a Stratasys printer. They're using ABS, some transparent ABS for
cool.
all the glowy effects. About a week turnaround time. I think it was created by Legacy Effects. Art director there, Lopes, actually had about a week to produce these. And the cool thing about this is that all of the helmets are custom made to each dancer, so it's quite
wow.
comfortable.
That's very cool. And
Actually gives us idea for a future project because we think we could make this with Ninja
some
Flex.
cyber spikes? We already got some cyber spikes going for you.
I think we're gonna
Complete
come
the
up with
wardrobe.
some cool mohawks, maybe BLE controlled
Yeah,
LEDs,
maybe some semi-flex.
some semi-flex definitely up in there. So
Very
yeah,
cool. And the LEDs, maybe neopixels?
I think so. Yeah, thanks for the idea there.
Yeah, very cool work there, Legacy Effects. Now we're going to jump into some other software-related news. One of our favorite pieces of software, Simplify 3D, came out with a new update. It's called 2.2.2. And they added a couple new things, improvements and things like that, more support for more machines. And this is a really cool addition. There's this piece called dimensionally adjustments. So you can do quick adjustments to make a tight fit, a snap fit, or a loose fit. I meant normal fit. But
yeah, so usually when we're doing snap together parts or objects that require to, sort of slip together, when they don't fit, we have to go back into the model and actually adjust it. This will speed up time and being able to actually, choose an option to make it, either tighter or looser.
Yeah, and this is just like that planetary gear as an example to show you how the tolerances are being adjusted for there. And it's a really simple adjustment here. If you look in the other tab inside of the FFF settings, you'll see it's called dimensional adjustments, and they have the horizontal size compensation here, so you can just adjust that by certain millimeters. So that's really cool.
Yeah, we're actually going to be looking at this in layer by layer later in the show.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, moving on.
Open source 3D scanner by Spanish tech company BQ.
Yeah.
So these guys are actually the company behind that's actually supporting Gina over at
Octoprint.
Octoprint.
It's very cool. This is called the Cyclops, or the Cyclop, and it's so I guess you can download it and make it yourself at home.
Yeah.
Huh?
So it's using the two laser approach.
It's a lot like the MakerBot digitizer. Yeah.
Yeah. This definitely would have been the approach that they should have taken when they were releasing the digitizer. Yeah. Sort of would have kept the open source philosophy there.
Wow, yeah,
I don't think they'd be in the spot they are right now.
This is very cool. And of course, all the sort of assembly parts and instructions are available on their site.
Software is available there too, so definitely check that out if you want to get your scan on.
Yeah, very cool.
Next, we got an awesome BB-NES Raspberry Pi case.
Yeah, this is an update to the original design, and just some really cool photos of it. And they opened up some vents and like a hole for the LED. So it was really cool to see people updating existing projects. It was really cool, real easy to do as well.
This is definitely what we want all of our customers to do.
Yeah, a really cool one. It's perfect for a retro game build.
Yeah.
All right, and then up, we got a cool mask. This thing looks like it's a render, man. It looks so good.
I think it's just the vintage filter there. But yeah, this is a 3D printed mask from
Zelda.
From Zelda, yeah. It's the Majora's Mask. It was printed, Shapeways the body there, designed in Blender, and she's just using, tracing the elements there and then doing, I think it was a shrink wrap modifier to sort of raise the details on that. The spiky bits for it were printed on a Delta bot. Sell those in the shop.
Oh, cool. So it's like a little bit of FDM, a little bit of sintering. Very cool.
And of course, a lot of blue tape, masking off and then painting.
Right on.
Very cool. All the prop makers definitely get a 3D printer for all this.
Yeah, or you can send it out and adjust it as you'd like.
Yeah,
very
many
cool.
options for that.
Yeah, and this one's really cool. This is, I think, Itty Bitty.
This is Itty Bitty Box. Very cool 3D printed like buildings and what is it?
Landmarks.
Scenescapes of full color. And he's
So
actually
beautiful.
Also adding very cool LEDs on the bottom to make it look like, they're city lights at night.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. I think these are all sandstone.
Sandstone from Shapeways. As you can see here, his finger in there for scale, just how tiny these cool
Very,
little
very
things
cool,
are.
yeah.
Definitely for like a desk or something like that. And you can see the platform that is letting the LED shine through there.
Yeah, very cool.
Very awesome work.
Yeah.
Next up, we have an update to the Raspberry Pi.
That's right. Yeah, this is a horizontal remix by
Space Monkey Boom.
Space Monkey Boom. Very
And
good job.
this is exactly what we want you guys to do. Take our 123D files, modify them to your needs. This definitely looks a little bit more comfortable being horizontal, I think.
Yeah, it's a really cool approach. I think the Super Game Pi has that sort of layout, but this makes it so it's not so big and bulky, and seems to keep all the same components and things. Just a little bit of adjustment there, but it's still a really cool project. And you made it your own. It's cool.
Next up, new type of filament here.
Yeah, what is this?
It's hemp.
This is hemp.
Very cool, yeah. So
Hemp infused filament. Every day it seems like there's a new type of filament. Like this
yeah,
butter
so this is
filament and
Robert here showing off one of his first successful prints from this, and I think it's 80% hemp and 20% PLA. This is definitely an awesome sort of mixture. Everybody knows that the fiber from hemp is extremely strong. I'm pretty sure that this would be biodegradable too, so this would be great for gardening, like planters, things like that.
Or mounts and stuff like that?
Yeah. Okay. So can't wait to try some of this stuff out.
Okay.
Looks pretty cool.
Keep our eye on that one. Huh? Okay. Cool.
And that is it for the news, I believe.
Yeah, that's it for the news.
Let's go ahead and jump into this week's video.
Okay. Do you want to show this one first?
Don't
forget, we got 10% off discount in the Adafruit shop. You can pick up some Pi accessories, some 3D printing accessories, and more.
That's right. So use the code METAL before 11:59 p.m. tonight to get your 10% off.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out the video. Pedro.
What do we got here? We got more filament. This time, metal-infused copper and bronze filament.
Yeah, so this is from the folks from Color Fab out in Netherlands. And they have two different types of metal filament, copper fill and bronze fill. Each one has their own respective properties, but they're pretty much metal filaments that are combined with PLA.
Yeah, so this is super cool. Filament gives 3D printing a totally different look. It has the weight of metal. It has, after you've done the polishing, it has, it looks incredibly shiny. On the copper part, it looks more shinier than the bronze. Bronze has a little bit more of a browner tone to it.
As soon as we printed it out, you're going to get stuff that looks more or less like the clay or something like that.
Yeah.
You really don't have a finished look right out of the printer.
Yeah,
but it's really cool to note that it works really well, 100 microns, and there's very minimal. There's some cleanup involved, but it's not like very hard to clean up.
Yeah, some of the properties when you're first feeding this through is that the filament is definitely more heavier, so it'll fall as you're sort of extruding it out to get the other filament out of there. You gotta be careful because it is metal. The heat does transfer up, so you definitely want to use some tweezers to sort of purge the nozzle when you're removing that the little bit of filament out of the way.
Right.
After it comes out of the print, it looks just like clay, like you said. It's a lot of the string, though, you can just rub off with your finger. It feels sort of like gritty,
Yeah, sure. And use an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife to get rid of it and clean it up before you throw it in the polisher.
Yeah, and that's one thing to keep in mind. Even if you have a cool, or if you have a lot of retraction issues, like Luis's Dreger's dragon here.
Arya the dragon. Yeah, look at all that sort of excess material there.
Yeah, that cleans up incredibly well, actually. Yeah. You can see in the next shot here just how...
just rubs off, yeah. But of course you want to use a knife to clean it all up there. Very, very lovely design. Huge shout out to you, Luis. This is a very, very cool print. When it comes to like durability and strengths, it's not exactly the strongest metal, but it's a little bit stronger than PLA.
Definitely do not use this in place of metal. It's PLA, so it'll probably melt on you. Anything over like 90 or 190 degrees or C.
I dropped my Raspberry Pi case that I printed in copper fill, and it broke a little piece off. So I figured, let's just do some stress tests. And I was really surprised that it wasn't as brittle as I thought it was. So here we're like snap testing it and seeing how far it bends back before it actually snaps. Pretty cool result there.
Again, it's a little bit tough, but definitely don't use it for metal applications.
Yeah. So this is the star of the show, right? This is what's going to make your prints amazing. This is a rock tumbler, pretty good one from Lortone. They have quite a few of them. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah. So we got the 3-pound one, which is like the smallest one, and I've noticed that the price has dropped like twice since we've bought this. Yeah, I think it's like 80 bucks. Yeah, it was like almost $100. Now it's like almost 70 bucks. Yeah. So definitely pick one up before they raise the price up again. I don't know how that fluctuation of that
Now we've seen people do this before using the rock tumbler. Now using the medium, what type of medium is really the key here?
So we've seen people like Barnacles they use like walnut shells on the bronze fill, and that didn't really achieve.
Pellets.
Or steel pellets. There's some sanding, and we'll show a little bit later in the show the difference between sanding and putting it in the rock tumbler. We saw one of the guys from Enable, 3D Universe, actually tipped us off to this using steel screws on his bronze, and that turned out beautifully. Like there's no post work really after this. It's
just like throw it in there and forget about it.
Throw it in there and forget about it. Yeah, it does
awesome.
take quite a bit of time to get a very nice shine, and we'll show differences a little bit later on what it looks like. A day and 2 and 3 days later.
Okay. So again, these are just brass screws. Now, what about the sizes of them?
So we're using double zeros, number 2s, 4s, and 6 here.
Okay.
And what the secret that what's happening here is that the screws are actually grinding together, and as you'll see I think you'll see in the learning guide, they actually dull themselves out. So all the little, what are they called? The
little dust particles?
Yeah, it's coming from all of the all of the screws getting ground up and then sort of being infused
into the part.
And
smoothing it out in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not only smoothing out your print, it's smoothing all the screws out at the same time.
That's right.
So you definitely want to use some gloves here.
That's right. It's very dusty.
Yeah.
And being a well-ventilated area, there's a little bit of dust will come out there. So when we threw the Luis's dragon in there, it didn't fare too well. It did break up into 3 pieces. So you do want to keep in mind delicate parts, but we were able to glue it back together with some E6000, so that was all good.
You also want to look at increasing the
shell
count.
Okay.
The infill, I don't know if it worked. If it helped as much as we thought it would. We threw some things in there that were like 10% infill and it came out perfect. I think the Dragon was, almost 50% infill, and it still managed to break. So your models may vary on that.
That's right. And of course, you want to brush it pretty thoroughly when you get it out and polish it with like a shop rag or something to get all of the dust out, because there's quite a bit.
Yeah. So this is what a finished, polished print looks like. Looks like it was cast.
Yeah, very, very cool. And at 100 microns, you can almost not see the layers, so it's really cool.
Yeah, so it's definitely a combination of layer height and the amount of time that you have it tumbling. Of course, when you increase the tumble time, you're also increasing the likelihood that it will break on you. But you can use, what did you use, Z6000 to glue the pieces together and glue right back together.
That's right. Yeah.
So that is the color fab.
Yeah. Very cool. Do you want to take a look at some parts?
Look at some parts overhead? Differences.
Okay. Oh, again, if you want to get some copper fill,
10% off.
Metal.
Use code METAL.
That's right. Check it out.
All right, so here's some differences in the sanding and tumbling. If the camera can adjust.
There you go.
There you go. So not as much shine.
Looks a little pale.
Sanding, yeah.
A little bit of
So what
chalky
happens
white.
when you're doing the sanding is that you're gonna bring out a lot of the white chalky, properties of the PLA, and at first when we tried this, we weren't that impressed at all because we just couldn't get a good shine out of this.
Yeah.
We tried some techniques where I think I showed a previous show where I was using an X-Acto knife to sort of cut out, sort of re-chamfer all these edges to get a shiny look. But over time, it dulls out, and it doesn't stay as long as just throwing it into the rock tumbler, as you can see there. Pretty shiny on that.
Yeah.
And then, as we were saying before, differences when it first comes out of the printer, and then after some polishing. You can totally see the difference on that.
Yeah.
And then differences between 100 microns and 200 microns there. You can kind of see in the shoulder there. This one, this is the 200 micron one.
Photos in the learning guide if you want to check out printer settings and profiles. We got those up in the Adafruit learning system, right?
Yeah, and definitely one of the coolest killer apps for this is, bronze
3D scanning.
3D scanning, statues, trophies, things like that. And of course, for achieving a steampunk effect. There's a difference between the clay one and one that's been polished. So this would definitely give an awesome steampunk themed look for
an enclosure.
Future project enclosure.
Yeah. Very cool. How's the warping and stuff?
Warping is very minimal on this.
It's just like PLA, right?
Yeah, it's just like PLA. There's no heated bed required.
220C?
220C is what we're using on this.
No bed required? That's great.
Yeah.
How about printing speeds?
Printing speeds were the same. I think it was like
30, 40?
Yeah. No, I think it was like
Faster?
60 millimeters per second. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
60
pretty speedy.
50,
That's good.
yeah. One thing that Color Fab does recommend is not to use these on
Teflon tube?
Yeah, printers or nozzles that use a Teflon tube, like the Lulzbot 4, unfortunately.
TAS 4? Okay.
Yeah, so the metal is abrasive and it will over time wear out your Teflon tube there.
Okay.
So definitely want to use an all-metal hot end for printing any of these guys out.
Okay.
Of course, another shout out to Louise for this awesome dragon.
Yeah, this thing's so great.
So amazing.
Very cool.
So that's copperfill.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments.
That's right.
Take a look at
And
that.
of course, you can get 10% off on said filament, bronze fill, copper fill, and yeah, be sure to check that out. Okay. Is there any other cool bronze stuff that you got hiding back here that you want to show?
Let's see.
You got like a bag of parts here.
No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, with that, I think it's time to jump right into our sort of layer by layer segment. So I'll go ahead and get that ready for you guys. So typically what we do is we check out 123D Design or whatever CAD package we're using, and we go through some of the tips on building the CAD. But in this,
What happens after we build it?
what
How
happens
do
after?
we
Yeah, how
slice
do you get
this?
it? So people have been asking us, you guys use Simplify 3D, or you mentioned it. Can you give us a little bit of why should we check it out? Well,
This is a little sneak peek
Yeah,
of
it's a
some of
little
the
sneak peek,
settings and
yeah.
things. We'll definitely do a full review. In an
so
upcoming
yeah,
episode.
so right now you'll take this is the interface, right? This is a little camera, so you can drop your files in, or you can add it in and import it through over here. You can have multiple files, of course. I'll go ahead and import our TouchPy 2 model that's pretty new and fresh. And then what's cool about it is that down here we have all our processes. So I have it all broken out into the individual printers. So you can have multiple printers and machines here. So I have my profile for my printer bot. I'm going to double click on it. Here's all the settings that pertain to it. And I can have multiple extruders here, all my layer height settings here. So we're going to print it at 200 microns. We got some first layer settings as well, infill stuff, some G-code start scripts. So you can modify that as well. Very, very robust. A lot of sort of settings and things to tweak. But in this one, we really don't have to modify too much, which is great. And then what I wanted to show was really the toolpath of the G-code when it's sliced. So let's go ahead and hit over here, go to prepare to print, and then you get a little notification. Do you want to print that? You can also print object by object or sequentially. So that's really nice. But in this one, I'm doing a continuous print.
We're looking here at one of the star features of this app, and this is the preview.
Yeah. So this is a really great visual representation of what the layers are actually going to look like. This is what the toolpath looks like. And so these are all the movements that your printer is going to make. So you can really come in here and see that everything is printing sort of an optimized manner, so it doesn't cause too much sort of Z height shifts or wobbles. So the main thing about printing enclosures is that when you have very thin walls, like a 1.5 mil walls, you want to have your tool head just print it straight on and not have any infill. So that's really important. So a lot of default profiles in Cura, for example, will create this sort of zigzag in between the two layers, making a lot of movements, a lot of jitter during your print, which makes it look just not the best. So Simplified 3D does an amazing job at creating a really clean toolpath.
And one of the tips to actually get this to work is to actually, what we do is we drop our diameter of the nozzle down to 3.5 and then set the extrusion width to 0.42 or 0.48, and that eliminates any like infill of the nozzle going back and forth, jittering it in there.
That's right, and here it is, the nozzle set to 3.5. And our extrusion width set to 4.2.
And we're using this on a PrinterBot Plus. The nozzle on that is a 0.4.
Yeah.
So that's the little trick there to eliminate that.
You kind of get you trick the slicer into sort of making it a little bit thinner for you. So that's really cool. And that's pretty much our layer by layer.
I think that you can definitely do this inside of Cura. We'll look at some of the settings for that, but everybody wanted to know about Simplified 3D.
Yeah, this is just a quick look at Simplified 3D. We'll obviously have more tutorials and maybe a review or something like that in the future. So yeah. It's definitely one of our favorite slice apps, and we recommend it heavily. And we'll be sharing with you guys some more stuff and more profiles as we get there.
Yeah, more software stuff. I think we have some, since everybody that we know that is coming into 3D printing is like a video game or visual effects artist, we're going to be doing more Maya-based tutorials too, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
And I think
that's the
all
show.
the time we have for
We're
this
at
week.
29 minutes, all looking good. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got some links for you guys as well, so you can check out some more projects.
Don't forget to check out all of the instructions, full detailed step-by-step.
For the copper fill and bronze fill.
Learn.adafruit.com.
And some future projects, or previous projects.
Previous projects, yeah.
Google Plus, we got a lot of posts there for you guys. We're always sharing people's projects and industry news there. And of course on the blog at 3D Thursday every Thursday.
Yeah, I think we got to update that link though. I think it's .blog.
That's right.
Adafruit.com now.
Yeah, it'll redirect. I'll be
And
sure
then,
to fix that.
for all the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
sneak peeks, check out our Twitter, Instagram, and Thingiverse.
Yeah, totally.
Always there. Say hi.
Say hi. All right, guys. Well, that's the show. We hope you enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure coming out here and doing it for you guys.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
All right, man. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.